Peace, family. This is Dr. Sadiki Baye coming to you once again, as usual, to share with you what I have been blessed with by the Creator and our glorious ancestors. And always keep in mind, as usual, we are the ancestors having a human experience. So we must keep the connection with the spiritual ancestors in order for them to be there for us. We have to give them a reason. So once you continue to honor and represent them, they will definitely be there whenever it's necessary. Just call on them. Keep the connection and never forget. So, family, I just want to thank you once again. And like I said, I do this all the time because I don't want to take anything for granted. I don't want to take you for granted or anyone else for granted. So I thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to enter into your home to share with you what I have been blessed with through my efforts. And all of us know something that the other one don't know. So by the time we share with each other what each other know, look how big all of us become. Look how big we become. So why hate? Why be jealous? So we have to come together, family, in order to come out of the mess that we were trapped in. We got in this mess together, and we got to come out together. But we got to come out with love, with respect. Respect is the foundation. So without a foundation, nothing will stand. It's just a matter of time before it falls. So, family, this is the first week after African American History Month or Black History Month. So I like to start off with this great subject, and I would like for you to receive it the way I'm giving it to you. To open up your mind and your heart to receive these words that I want to share with you. And the subject matter today is empathy. Empathy. Family, we have to go to the root meaning of words because by the time we get them, they're already flipped, diluted, mixed, seasoned, sweetened, and all of that. And we must get it raw because again, once upon a time, we weren't even allowed to read. But once we were allowed to read, they already then diluted everything. So we have a weak version of everything. So we have to go etymology. And I thank Dr. Burton, who is an ancestor right now, who taught at Temple University. He is one of my heroes that traveled all over the world teaching the original meaning of words. He went to Russia, Germany, all over the world. This brother was all that. And I will continue to honor and represent him. And he might not be here physically, physically in his body, but as long as I'm here, he is here. So let's get right down to this, family. We're going to talk about empathy. So what is empathy? Empathy means the ability to understand and share another person's feelings. The ability that must means you have to have some skills there. Listen to the words that I'm sharing with you, family. The ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. In other words, to sense others' emotions, coupled with the ability to imagine what another person is thinking and feeling. Imagine. Wow, you have to be very skillful, family. So that comes to the point where the psychologists they came up with three types of empathy. Number one, cognitive. Number two, emotional. Number three, compassionate. So cognitive is a conscious intellectual activity. Conscious intellectual activity such as thinking, reasoning, and remembering. Emotional means feeling lots of feelings such as happy, sad, anxious, uh, feeling a lot of feelings and emotions. In other words, happy, sad, being afraid, lonely, mad, those kind of things. And compassionate means to suffer together. And what do I mean by suffer together? By showing kindness and empathy towards the other. Those are the three types of empathy that the psychologists came up with. Once again, it's cognitive, uh, emotional, and compassionate. Let's get that down, family. We got to really, really get down to the real foundation of things. We got to be deep rooted once again. They made us shallow. When the wind comes, it blows us all over the place. But when you're deep rooted, you're not going to break. So let's get to the point now that what are some signs? Now, in order to be a highly empathetic person, you have to see signs of that within that person. You have to see evidence, in other words, of a highly empathetic person. So, what are some of the signs? Okay, number one is to listen intensely to another person's situation, or listen intensely to what another person have to say. Intensely listen. Listening is a skill. Too many times we just hear each other. We take each other for granted. Hearing is surface. Listening is getting deeper into what a person is saying. You can hear more than what the person is saying. In other words, you can read between the lines. You feel more than what the person is expressing. That's intense. That means you are there, all in. That's number one, to listen intensely to what a person have to say. Number two is you can tell. You can tell whether a person is feeling sad. You can tell whether a person is feeling anxious. And you can tell whether a person is feeling angry or just feeling anything. In other words, totally confused. And number three, you absorb other people's emotions. You absorb their emotions and end up feeling what they're feeling. You got to be all in, family. You got to be there. You got to be intense when you see signs of a highly empathetic person. Now, a lot of people, they're kind of cold there. They don't care. They're very highly opinionated instead of actually really knowing, actually really getting into the one another. We owe that to each other, family. We have to be intense about our relationship towards one another. our caring towards one another, our love and respect towards one another. And we have to look at it to the point where I am you and you are me. So therefore we are one. A highly empathetic person, you should see signs of that. Now, that comes to another point of, okay, what are some definitions of empathy? Some of the definitions, and some of them are, number one, the ability to identify. Listen, family, the ability to identify with another person's situation. The ability. Once again, it takes skill to have abilities. You got to put in the time and the effort. So the ability to identify another person's situation. Number two, the ability to understand another person's perspective, another person's experience, and another person's motivation. Wow. Wow, family. We have to really get it. Number three, the projection of one's own personality into the personality of the others to the point where you feeling what they feel. That means that you're there, you really into them. That's what true relationship is all about. Your personality into the personality of another person to the point where you end up feeling what they feeling. Wow. That's why, remember what we used to say, you feel me? When we use that statement, you feel me, that'll let us know that you're really there with that person. We need to get that back again. We got to start feeling one another. We're not feeling each other anymore. We're detached. So we have to reconnect in order to feel one another. Because we should be able to say the God in me is the God in you. We are one. Number four, family, the attribution of one's what? The attribution of one's own feelings to an object. The attribution of one's own feelings to an object. Number five, family, is to understand the thoughts, the feelings, and the emotions of another person. These are some deep things, family. These are definitions of empathy. These are other definitions, different definitions of empathy, so that you can see the broader picture of what empathy is all about. And the sixth one is to be able to read another person's mind. Whoa. That means you got to be there. It takes skill to do that because you have to have it to give it. And you have a lot of people who are the great pretenders. We have to be real. We have to be true to ourselves and one another. So I gave you 6 definitions, family, of empathy. Check it out for yourself. Look into it. Study it. Embrace it. Understand it. You owe that to yourself, family. It's all about balance. We have to regain our balance. And to regain our balance, we have to connect and balance one another. This is very important, family. And that's why I do what I do. to contribute towards not only my balance, but to the balance of others who look like me, others who uh, came from the same uh, uh, people, our ancestors, the one who worshiped the same God, because there's only one God. And like I said on my last video about Marcus Garvey, his motto is one aim, one God, and one destiny. That should be us. That's what eagles do. Yes, family. That's what eagles do. They fly high above and they can see everything below. In other words, be ye in this world, but not of it. So, family, we're at the point right now, as I usually do, I share with you synonyms and antonyms. As you know, synonyms are words that are similar to other words. Now, we're talking about empathy. Now, some synonyms to empathy are compassion, sympathy, insight, understanding, love, care, charity. Those are some of the many. Now let's look at antonyms, which is the opposite. And some of them are distance, indifference, uncaring, misunderstanding, uh, distrustful. Let me see. Another one is detached. Wow. Family, let's know the difference. The differences. Because everything has opposites, but yet they're on the same line. So, like our queen sings, our queen, what's her name? India Ray. India Ray sings, we must all get back to the middle, because that's where the balance is. Because you never know which end you might go. So be careful by saying never, because you might have to, depending on the purpose. Everything is about purpose. So be open and flexible at all times, but always be mindful so that you won't be operating from your feelings and your emotions, but from thought, from your mental. Let your mind lead the way, because everything is mental. It ain't nothing until you call it. So be careful what you call it. So, family, I would like to share with you a conversation that I had with this brother. And I'm sure when he listens to this video, he'll know who I'm talking about. And this is, I'm sure that this is not the only person that has this kind of mindset. And whether it's good or bad, or right or wrong, you determine that. Now, what's this brother, he views my videos at times, I assume, and he knows exactly what I'm about to a degree. And he says, and he texted me and told me that I need to step it up. And I asked him, what do you mean by I need to step it up? You know all the things that I do. You know, I have my YouTube channel. You know, I'm an author and a writer. And my third book is being printed right as we speak. It's called It Seems to Me, Things That We Must Acknowledge, family. And I do speaking engagements and motivation speaker, and I'm involved in the community, and I highly represent our ancestors, the ones before me, my heroes, my forefathers and mothers. And he said that I need to step it up. I said, what do you mean? He said, because the things that you be saying is the things that causes ignorance, that cause us to be stuck, that cause the younger ones to be stuck. I say, well, what do you mean by that? He says, because we you keep reminding people of the same things. I say, brother, repetition is the key to learning. You just can't say something one and you just got it with not a light switch. It takes a process to get into something, and it takes a process to come out of it. So I say, brother, you need to show more empathy. You must show more empathy. And his response, we were texting back and forth. I don't even like texting, but he was texting me, so I say, okay, this is an exception. He says that empathy will never allow you to overcome circumstances. I hope you're hearing me. Empathy will never allow you to overcome circumstances, he says. Wow. I say, brother, you got to show more empathy. If you understand the true meaning of empathy, is the ability to understand and share other people's situations, and the ability to sense someone else's emotions, coupled with the ability to imagine what another person is thinking and feeling. What do you mean that empathy gets you stuck? We need more of that towards one another because of what has happened to us. All of us are damaged to a degree. Some of us are just more healed than others because of our efforts. You're blessed through your efforts. But all of us don't have the same degrees of things. So I said, okay, brother, you're saying that I need to step it up. And I asked him, well, what are you doing that's so fantastic? I asked that brother 4 times before he responded. And he came up uh, with an answer. He answered by saying that my contribution is conversation and challenge. Conversation and challenge. I said, okay. So, conversation and challenge with who and to who? He said that he meets with these a few people every week, and they have conversation and challenge. I said, okay, well, how come you're not visible with that? Where are you meeting at? How come nobody knows about that? What good is it to be about something and you're not visible? We need more examples, family. We have to, some people really want to do right, but we don't have enough examples. There's nothing wrong with conversation and challenge because an infant does that. An infant have conversation. Whether we understand what they're saying all the time is not the point. And infants are even a challenge, give you challenge. So what do you mean by your contribution is conversation and challenge? We need to be more visible, family. And I asked him, well, where is this group at? You said you meet and y'all have a group. I said, it sounds like a little club or something. And he never answered. Sometimes silence is more important than talk. So some people are just, what I understand now today is bullies. What they want to do is bully you to make them feel like they're something. Now, if you had any level of empathy, I said, and I also asked him, I said, okay, brother, who's going to meet, who's going to reach the people who are stuck in the first grade? Who? We have all different levels and degrees. So who's going to reach the ones who stuck in the first grade? And I told him that I'm willing to do that. So we have to reach all levels of our people because all of us been had. All of us been messed up. All of us been bit by that same damn dog who has rabies. And instead of blaming one another and putting each other down, we need to join forces and go get that damn dog. Like I've always said, repetition is the key to learning. We've been deceived for 400 or 500 years. So we must continue to remind our people of the wholeness of our reality. How do you know where you are if you don't know where you come from? And the experiences and the situations and the damage that has been caused through the vicious enemies. And some of us even taking the position of the enemy by being haters. We need to stop that, family, criticizing one another negatively. We have to stop that, family. We got to come together and make a difference. Where is the brotherhood? Where is the sisterhood? Where is the familyhood? Where is the godhood? It's there, but we have to tap into it. Why do we continue to blame each other for what has happened to us? Everything that happened to us is not our fault. But what we are accountable for is to do something about it. But we have to come together. We have to be empathetic. We have to give each other the benefit of the doubt, family. We have to understand. We have to be intentional with knowing what has happened to us and who did it. Some of us want to know and studying to find out, to acquire more knowledge and understanding. And some of us are just communicating through book stuff, beating people over the head with a book, or we are just walking books and ain't doing nothing. If you're not visible in the community, that means that you're not really doing anything. And I mean passing the information on to a person. You don't always have to be active in the community, but you could be active towards another person who's willing to take it to the community. That's what teams do. All the team members don't necessarily have to be visible, but we have to have representatives of the team that should be visible. And I'm a representative of that. Because we need to come from a frame of reference about everything that we're about. And the frame of reference should be about our ancestors, should come from our ancestors, our glorious ancestors, the ones who the Creator blessed with the blueprint of life to give us some meaning, some direction, and some purpose. Not coming from an emotional standpoint, opinionated standpoint, but from a knowing standpoint, because the wise man goes by what he knows. So if I know something, does that mean I have to think? No, you don't have to think if you know. Just tap into what you know. Thinking is the process to get you to knowing. Food, raw food for thought, family. And I've said this many times also. See, my thing is to deal with the mind and the spirit. Because if your mind is not right, you can't even be spiritual no kinds of way. Because your mind is the gateway to the spiritual. So we got to mind up. All of us are held accountable. So whatever, so what that brother shared with me is to let me know where he is. And so that motivates me to even do more than what I'm doing. See, some people mean it for evil, but God means it for good. It depends on how you look at it. And motivation comes from how important it is to you. If it's that important, you'll be motivated to handle that. So your will, rather, yeah, your will is determined by how important it is to you. Most people don't have the will to even grow from where they are. They just want to take that little low level information and beat somebody up with it. And I also asked him, I said, brother, I know many people who know more than you. Does that make you ignorant? Since you say that I'm ignorant in where I am, how about all the people who know more than you? Does that make you ignorant? So I just want to share that with you, family, because we all over the place too much. We need to be still and tap into the peace that's within so that the universe can speak to us, so that God can speak to us, so the Creator can speak to us, so that the Most High can speak to us, so that our ancestors, that small, still voice, can speak to us. Let's be still and know that I am, that I am. Family, this is very important. This is a crucial time of life. You see all this stuff that's going on. We don't have time to put each other down. We don't have time to criticize. We need more empathy. We need more benefit of the doubt towards one another. And I also asked him, did you always know what you know now? Or did you grow and transform into that? But guess what, brother? There's always more. The more you know, the more there is to know. Well, no one's perfect, they say. Okay, well, get on the road to excellence and you're striving for perfection. And that's a lifetime thing. And the only thing that's perfect that I can come up with, and I thought about this for years, all these terms, oh, well, no one's perfect. The only thing that I can come up with that's perfect is change. No one can stop change. But you can influence it by transforming into it and become one with it. We are all that, family. We are the universe as individuals. We are the sun as individuals. We are the grain of sand as the beach. Family, use your mind. That God given senses that we've been blessed with. And be about the upliftment of our people. But you have to have it to give it. You got to want it. If you don't want it, no one can make you have it. I can only do my part. They say, oh, no one can change anyone. Yes, well, your influence can be so powerful that you cause a change. You can be so powerful that you can cause a change. Even though people might not tell you, but you'll see it sooner or later. People got too much pride. We need to get rid of that pride, you know, and step it up and be the child of God that we profess to be. So I just wanted to share that with you, family. And I'm sure that each one of us have some experiences that we want to share. But it's not a put down, it's to let you know that what has happened to us through our journey. So, family, in conclusion, we have to know and understand that empathy is action. And it's the action of understanding, it's the action of being aware of, it's the action of caring, it's the action of love, it's the action of benefit of the doubt, it's the action of taking it to another level, it's an action of embracing one another with intense efforts to understand one another. Because understanding can take the sting out of a lot of things, family. It's not a matter of right, wrong, good, or bad. It's a matter of knowing or understanding or being where a person is. When they express themselves, you hear more, you feel more. So we have to be more empathetic, family. We have to be. How can you relate to a person? How can somebody trust you or even want to be around you if you're not practicing empathy? That will make a person want to keep coming to you to get advice, to show you love and respect, to acknowledge your level. We must transform into that empathetic, that highly empathetic person to give people confidence to come to you. That's what real leaders do. You can't fool energy, family. So, in conclusion, family, you have, again, some things I just want to emphasize, and I don't want to miss a beat or a word. So, I just want to say to you, you have to be a very big, or have a very big imagination to relate to others. A big imagination. That means you have to have some skills to go within yourself and to imagine, to visualize, to feel, to sense. In order to relate to people, you have to have a tremendous amount of imagination. But the key to it all is understanding. And understanding is two words. Is to know what is under what is standing. What is under what is standing when you look at a tree? The roots. They used to call us root people, and we used to be deep-rooted people. But now they made us shallow. When the wind come, we all over the place. We used to be deep divers. Now we're drowning. Family, we got to practice the Sankofa principle and go back and get it and bring it up and validate it, because we forfeited too much when they presented this illusion of integration. See, self-reliance is the name of the game. We got to stop begging and asking and go for what we know. So, family, understanding. Well, before I close, I have one more thing to share with you. Someone came to me and said, and asked me, Dr. Sadiki, what's the difference between sympathy and empathy? Okay, sympathy is something that you feel towards a person. You don't have to be skillful with that. You just feel them. And, or as skilled, but empathy, you have to be a very skillful person because your imagination is involved now. You're hearing and seeing and feeling more than what the person is expressing. We got it in this family. All you got to do is tap into it, but you have to develop a process to do that. So, family, let's develop into a highly empathetic person to be the example for our people, to make them want to come to you, to make them want to listen to you, to make them want to be around you. And you can't fool energy. So, family, I thank you once again for the opportunity. And I love you. I bless you. And I want you to prosper. Do your best and let God do the rest. You got to know in the whole and know in the fold. But you have to have a sharp, discerning spirit to know the difference. Stay strong and keep your faith where it belongs. Because life is for the living. Let the dead bury the dead. Keep your head towards the universe where all strength comes from, and never give up and never, ever, ever, ever give in, no matter how things seem. Seem is emotions. Because everything is, always was, and always will be in divine order. God doesn't make any mistakes, but we do. But when you learn from him, it's all good. Stop beating yourself up by making mistakes. Making mistakes is all part of learning. But some of us can't get over it. We need to learn how to forgive ourselves and forgive others. Forgiveness is for the individual who's doing the forgiving. That means that you're taking the burdens off of you to lighten your load. So whether a person accepts your forgiveness or not is not all that important. What is important is your sincerity of forgiving so that you can keep it moving with a purpose. Keep your lights on and keep them bright at all times. Family, right thinking, right giving, and right eating. That's the pyramid. That's holistic living. Right thinking, right giving, and right eating. Holistic. So, family, happy new life, happy new journey, happy new you. Peace, Baraka, and Hotep. This is Dr. Sadiki Che Baye, your servant. Have a blessed life and continue to grow, elevate, and transform into your godhood. Until the next time, stay strong and keep your faith where it belongs.